This is the reassessment video for soil, agriculture, and land use, public lands, and forestry fisheries test by Drake Days and Kyra Rogers.
Kyra Rogers. Where are you looking here?
So, weathering and erosion. There is no movement involved in weathering, and there's two different types of weathering. There's chemical weathering and there is mechanical weathering. In chemical weathering, it involves the chemical change of the minerals inside of a rock. In mechanical weathering, it involves physically breaking down the fragments in a rock but not chemically changing the makeup of it. And erosion or mass washing is just simply movement downslope due to gravity. Contour plowing is plowing perpendicular to the slope or basically following the curves of the land. Terrace, not sure how to say that word, but I think it's terrace or terracing, is leveled surface built into landscape for agriculture and salt production. Windbreaks are trees, fence, wall screens that provide shelter for protection from the wind. Polyculture and monoculture. The cons about a monoculture is that the farmer needs a huge amount of land to accumulate each variety of crops, but the pro about that is you get a lot of crops from the outcome, and they also need to use a more complex irrigation system to feed the crops. And polyculture is a single space that has all the crops in one place, which would need a smaller land, and at the same time it is easier to water crops following a cost-effective irrigation system, meaning it can produce higher yields and consume less water.
Okay, soil profile. Horizons. You have the O horizon, which is organic matter and decomposition, topsoil. A horizon, zone of leaching. B horizon, which is the zone of accumulation, also known as the alluvial zone. C horizon, which is weathered or parent material. R horizon, bedrock. Humus. Humus is dark organic material that forms in soil when a plant and animal matter decays. Parent material is the original bedrock or a source rock that weathers into soil and it determines the chemical makeup. And then weathering versus erosion. Weathering is more of the breakdown of rock into sediment, while erosion is the movement of sediment.
So, the goal of a pesticide is to control the amount of pests in the environment rather than completely eliminate it. DDT was a pesticide that has been banned in the U.S. Rachel Carson used DDT to tell her story about the consequences from the overuse of insecticides. Carson concluded that the effects of DDT can have in what the DDT can have on an environment. There is evidence linking DDT to the severe decline in bald eagles populations due to the thinning of the bald eagle shell. The shell would be very fragile for the mother to sit on it and care for it, so therefore the egg would just break in half and the little eagle would die. And that biomagnification and bioaccumulation are two total different things. So biomagnification is an increase in concentration of the substance in a food chain, not one single organism. Bioaccumulation is an increase in concentration of a substance in one organism or substances in one organism. Crop rotation. Crop rotation is when you change the place of a crop every year to prevent weeds and pest buildup. It also maintains soil fertility. Cover crops. Cover crops are grown for the protection and the enrichment of soil. Forestry. Silviculture. Silviculture is controlling the establishment, growth, composition, health, and quality of forests to meet diverse needs and values. Selective cutting is when you cut down trees in a forest that are effective so they do not affect other trees. Clear cutting is removing all the trees in a selected area or the forest, which is very bad for the environment. Very bad, do not do. Controlled burning is when you reduce the chance, is basically a man or a person starting a fire in a forest, when this is to help prevent wild forest fires, and it kills pests that can affect the environment. Fisheries, little fisheries.
Oh gosh.
Types of fishing is trawling, which one of them is trawling, which is dragging a net across the ocean floor, which catches little bitty creatures like shrimp. Long line fishing is used to target fish like tuna, and which has it's like a long line with little hooks on the end, and they also like catch they catch turtles, which is really bad. And there's also one called drag netting, which is a really long net that is very long and it's like miles long, and it catches fish and also can be very effective because it snags turtles and it snags seabirds. Commercial fishing is catching seafood for a profit. Fish farms is a place where fish are artificially bred and cultivated for food to preserve in lakes. Maximum sustainability yield is the largest catch that you can take from a species over an indefinite period. Okay, I'm done.
Soil composition. Permeability. Permeability is how fast water will flow through a soil type. Porosity. Porosity is how much space there is between the grains of sediment. Soil triangle is a classification made by the proportions of sand and clay. pH scale and pH scale linked to solubility. The pH depends on the solubility of those minerals and how acidic or basic they may be, which will then reflect on in the soil. Economics of farming. Cash crops versus subsistence farming. Cash crops are basically grown to sell to other countries and make money, while subsistence crops are like crops for the consumer to eat themselves, like to support for their family rather than sell. Slash and burn is to cut down all the trees and burn them. Pretty simple. The Green Revolution was a post-World War II program that led to new strains of crops with higher yields. Yeah, that's all. Quick. Public Why did you do that? You don't even know. Pros of grazing would be that it improves reproduction in animals. A con would be that it can lead to overgrazing, which can lead to desertification. Mining. A pro of mining would be that you can mine for energy minerals. Cons would be that it releases greenhouse gases and it's a threat to public lands. Drilling. Pros would be it's a method to get resources like oil and coal. Cons would be that it could possibly contaminate the groundwater, which is really bad. Fishing, it's an easy way to get food. Cons, there's bycatch when you go fishing. You can get like turtles and dolphins and it can kill them and it's just real sad. Pros to tourists would be that it improves in employment, and cons would be that they destroy the environment to create like parks and stuff for the tourists. The CCC, which is the Civilian Conservation Corporation, it was established by Franklin Roosevelt. An example would be Umstead Park. Theodore Roosevelt, he established the first refugee park on Pelican Island in Florida. That's all. Yeah.